Welcome back. We're here with Pepper from Godly Trading. Pepper, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course, thank you for coming on. Very excited to dive into your knowledge of day trading and things like that. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it. So, I think when people look at trading and especially getting into it, there's a lot of misconceptions and ways to get started. How does someone start day trading?
Well, it's an interesting endeavor for anyone to get into. The first step in our process is to find out why someone is doing this, because it is the why that is going to keep you going when the hard times come, and the hard times are going to come. The other thing we do is we dive into, and this is why I'm trying not to get distracted by my own train of thought here, but this is why it is so difficult sometimes to fight against the idea of trading and day trading that you see in social media. So I feel like every day I get up and I've got the old Greek mythology, Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill every day. There's this great joke from Jeff Foxworthy that says that rednecks, of which I am a proud member, we're not stupid as a general rule. We just can't keep the most ignorant amongst us off TV. And by the same token, traders aren't scammers or Lamborghini bros as a general rule. We just can't keep the most unscrupulous amongst us off of social media.
Yeah.
So the first thing we have to do is dispel all the myths that surround what trading actually is. Trading is a skill like juggling or cooking. Yeah, there was a great documentary put out, a biography of a French philosopher named Gusteau. It was called Ratatouille, but it's misunderstood. But anyway, Gusteau says anyone can cook. And by the same token, anyone can trade. It's just a matter of developing a skill and practicing over and over and over again. It takes discipline. The same process you go through to be Drew Brees, the best quarterback ever, right? Or to be Gordon Ramsay. It's the same process you go through to be a successful trader. And people look at what their only outlet to trading are Hollywood and social media, and those generally show the worst aspects of traders. But it's a skill that anyone can learn. The first thing you have to do, though, is you have to take a critical assessment of yourself and say, how much time do I have to dedicate to this, both in learning and during the course of a day? Because you've got day traders, you've got people like me who are called swing traders. We trade for half an hour to an hour a day, and our trades last longer. That is the hardest thing to do, is to create realistic expectations, not only in what you're going to get out of it, but what you're going to put into it. Back in my day trading days, I was so wrapped up in the idea of being a day trader, almost the personality, the character of a day trader. I mean, I find myself out on the road trying to day trade at 70 miles an hour. I would highly recommend no one do that. But there is a wealth of information out there for anyone to learn. I mean, we've got courses, but there's all manner of stuff you can find for free. The downside is there's just so much bad information out there. I would say that if you're trying to learn how to trade, and the person that you're learning from promises you anything that sounds too good to be true, it probably is. I mean, the best, most successful trading in the world is as exciting as watching paint dry. Yeah. Warren Buffett, you're familiar with the name of Warren Buffett. Everyone knows Warren Buffett. Over the course of 50 years, Warren Buffett's annual return, you can check this out, his annual return is 19.8% a year. Now, he's an investor, not a trader, but anyway, that's less than 2% a month. That's like 1.5% a month. So if you've got somebody promising you 30% a month or 50% a month, and Warren Buffett's doing 1.5% a month, there's something wrong there. So anyway, step one is to take a breath and take a step back and get a realistic set of expectations. Because then you can, once you plant your flag as to where you're going to go and you define success on the front end, then there's a great quote that I'm going to mangle that says something about you find out where you want to go and work backwards. I forget who said that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's step one, is why are you doing this, and do you fully understand what it's going to take to be successful? And probably the most important thing, what does success look like to you? If you're going to make $100 a month, if you want to make $1 million a month, if you're going to work for an hour a day or 8 hours, all of those things, you have to define those on the front end so that you will know when you have become a successful trader. And so that's, again, one of the things that I have to fight against almost every day. It's like whack-a-mole. Okay, I have dispelled that myth, but oh no, there's another one popped up overnight while I was sleeping.
And when like people are trading, I feel like there's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of excitement. How do you make sure, as a trader, you are not over trading?
Well, that is the fear and greed are the two. Well, if you read most literature, you'll find that fear and greed are the two biggest emotions. I disagree slightly, but there is an element of excitement that obviously creeps in anything that you do. And when you start it and you find some success, you're going to get excited. I make the analogy that I've got a barrel of monkeys in here that are throwing bananas and trying to get me to just do it, click the button, and that's a lot of people equate trading with clicking buttons. That if I'm just sitting there waiting, I mean, there's that great meme, what people think I do, what I think my mom thinks I do, and what I actually do. And for trading, it's usually sitting there going, all right, I'm waiting. The old analogy about baseball players, right? You bat 300, and you go into the Baseball Hall of Fame, which is in Cooperstown, I think. And, what is it, 300? You're striking out 7 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So, but these are the guys that stand there at the first base, at the home plate, and wait for their pitch. They wait for what they want to swing at. And the rest of the time, they're not swinging. And so there is a lot of excitement that goes into, well, let me just put it this way. Another thing that I like to attribute to Gusto, anyone can cook, anyone can trade. People go on social media and the internet and try to find the perfect strategy. Any strategy can work. The thing that makes you successful or unsuccessful is everything that goes on in here. I wrote the book mainly to help people grasp that concept, because until you master your emotions and stop looking for the adrenaline rush and get that expectations, you're going to overtrade. I'm a reformed overtrader. I think almost everybody goes through that phase where you get excited, you get on a roll, and you start to say, okay, this old song, 10 feet tall and bulletproof. That is the absolute worst thing that can happen to you as a trader, is to have too much success early on before you're ready for it.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on the markets being manipulated by these big companies like BlackRock?
Well, I don't mind it as long as I'm aware of it and find a way to go along for the ride. It was one of the reasons that I don't like to trade when there are, like, I trade Forex. Forex is open. It opens up on Sunday evening at 5 o'clock Eastern time, and it closes Friday evening. It's open the rest of the time. It's 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So we'll have a holiday here. We had one Monday. We had a holiday, but the rest of the world is still trading. But, the big guys are on vacation. So I don't like to trade when I know the big guys are on vacation, because little things can make the market move. So I like to know that the big guys, as long as you know that they're doing, as long as you know that Goldman Sachs and BlackRock, actually it's BlackRock, State Street Group, and Vanguard are the top 3 owners of everything. You go to any stock and you look at the breakdown, it's going to be one of those, usually in that order. BlackRock, State Street Group, and Vanguard, I think in that order. So once you realize that, it's okay, well, how are they making their money, and how can I ride their coattails? I'm not going to do anything to stand in front of them and try to stop the momentum, which is why I like to trade on a longer time frame. But again, you have to tailor what you do to your personality and your lifestyle. And that is one of the downsides to buying a strategy or following a strategy, is that oftentimes it doesn't fit your own trading DNA. Yeah. And sometimes it takes a while to figure that out. What am I? When I look at a chart, when I look at a stock or whatever it is, what's my instinctual idea on where it's going to go? And so don't try to fight that. I had a strategy that's called the one I hated. Right? It was doing well, but it was exactly opposite of how I like to trade. And every day, it was a chore to, again, the why, to sit down and spend the time using the strategy that I hated. I knew it could be successful. I had back tested and forwarded and all those things. I knew it could be successful, but it ran counter to my entire being. And I finally dumped it, because it's like I'm just beating my head against the wall. There are so many other ways I could be more, the trading could be more enjoyable. I mean, there's nothing more miserable sometimes than trading.
Well, I think that's a good lesson for people to learn. And I think that's a good life lesson of, like, just because something can succeed, just because you can make money off something, doesn't mean you need to do it, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's
the line from Jurassic Park. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, and we've been talking about the excitement of traders and getting into it and how to kind of walk through those emotions. As a day trader, how do you know when it's time to give up?
Well, one of the benefits of day trading, which is the thing that brought me to it in the first place, was that at the end of the day, if you are a true day trader, like I said, I'm no longer a day trader, but the main benefit is that at the end of the day, you're done, you're out, you don't have a single trade on, nothing can hurt you. And one of the things that I realized was that I was gravitating towards that out of fear, because oh no, something's going to happen overnight and out of my control, and all of that gets wrapped up in your pride, in your control. I mean, as a Christian, one of the things we strive for is letting go of control, letting go of trying to do it ourselves, do it alone, and sometimes that element of day trading, control, can feed into the worst aspects of your personality. But again, that is also one of the benefits. But at the same time, everything in trading, the formula for success, I've got it on all my YouTube videos and in the book and everywhere, is success equals your discipline plus your capital plus your strategy multiplied by time. That's the only formula for success. And discipline is the most important thing. And inside of that is two things. It's trade management and risk management. And once you really wrap your brain around, okay, everything starts with risk management. The big boys, BlackRock and all, they start with risk management. And once you do that, then it doesn't matter what you trade. You can day trade, you can invest for months at a time because you've already done the legwork before I click the button of what's the worst case scenario, how much am I going to lose if I'm wrong. They always say whenever you plan a trade, you send three orders to the server. What's the price I want to get in at? What price do I get out at if I'm right? And what price do I get out at if I'm wrong? And once you've accepted that you're gonna lose money, and again, I hate to use the term winning and losing because as Americans we have this internalized belief about being a loser and being a winner. Yeah. Right? Football is wins and loses, and as long as you're following your plan, every trade is a winning trade. You might have profitable trades and unprofitable trades, but as long as you're following your plan, your risk management, all of that, they're all winning trades. But anyway, once you've wrapped your brain around, okay, 60% win rate, fantastic. I'm losing 40% of the time. What's that going to cost me? It's just the cost of doing business. It's like having a restaurant and having broken dishes in the power bill. Once you wrap your brain around that, then it just, our job is to try to get people to the point where they're, I call it trading on cruise control. You open your platform up, you do clickety-clickety, you shut it down, you can move on with your life. And once you can do that, once you've got risk management that's sort of happening in the back of your brain, then you have so much more freedom. The reason I got into this in the first place was that day I was driving to work and I was just so miserable already. I was a day trader at the time, which meant I'm driving to work and I have 0 trades happening right now. I haven't done anything. But I'm just driving in this cloud. I'm pre-miserable. I'm just expecting it to go bad. I mean, I'm sure everyone has been there before. You're preparing for an encounter, whether it's a conversation or whatever, and you're just going through all the scenarios in your head, and they're all bad. And as I was driving to work, I heard this voice of God saying, basically, aren't you tired of feeling this way? And I was so miserable. And after a long, it's only a 20-minute drive, but it seemed like it took 4 days, finally changing the way I looked at trading, which shockingly for me, or perhaps I shouldn't have been shocked, but self-evaluation is unpleasant. It's always unpleasant. Yes, and realized that my entire, even though I said, I'm trading for my family, I'm trying to help my family, I do all these family. And God's like, nah, you're doing this all for you and your own pride. So you can say, look at me, look how great I am. And once I stepped away from that and really took a hard look at why I was doing it, and took myself out of it, then you can take your emotions out of it. And then now, I've got trades that last for 2 or 3 weeks. I had a trade on Monday. What was it? It was CAD. So it was a Canadian dollar trade. Well, Trudeau and Trump started saying stuff, and whoo, that thing went all over them. I mean, just bounced all over the place. It's going to happen, and a lot of this comes with time. You learn these things, But I have rambled enough now that I forgot your original question. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You mentioned the 9 to 5 job, and like using trading as a way to escape this, and move away from the rat race.
Yes.
Where does this desire come from to want to escape the 9 to 5 rat race?
Well, I mean, very few people out there really just live for their job. They love it. And one of the things that I tell people when they first approach me, hey, I want to learn about trading. I want to quit my job. And goes along with that, let's manage our expectations. That I don't think that anyone should trade for a living for a very long time. Now, I don't mean if you work for BlackRock and that's your job. I mean if you're a plumber and you want to quit your job and trade for a living. Let's have several streams of income. And your job being one of those. One of the side effects, I was unemployed for about 6 months, about 5 years ago. Again, learned a lot about myself and none of it good during that period of time. But one of the things you do learn is, hey, everyone says go out there and get a good job. It's kind of almost like the American dream that we're all raised with. Get a good job and get a house and a 30-year mortgage I don't want to call it a lie, only because I don't want to say it out loud. But, hey, let's be dependent on one person or company for the livelihood of my family for the rest of my life.
Yes.
That is just as, working for Acme and counting on them for your paycheck is just as reckless as trading for a living and counting on it for your paycheck. I mean, the last thing I encourage anyone to do is that you never want to get into a situation where you're like, okay, my power bill is due next week. I need a winning trade today. Yeah. That will mess you up. You're going to go down a black hole of losing if that happens. So I tell everybody, trading is an income stream. Let's build that up. And once you have gotten over the hump, you don't even have to be making money. But once you are trading on cruise control in your head, once it's just like, okay, I do my thing, I move on, then start another business, digital marketing or YouTube or whatever it is, and build up 4 or 5 of them, trading being one, your job being one. And that's where you have to really say, okay, I got a 9 to 5 job. Maybe I want to be a full-time trader one day. I can't do it right now. I don't want to trade at 70 miles an hour on the interstate. No one should want to do that. No one's ever done that before. I was kidding earlier. Say, okay, well, how can I fit trading into my existing lifestyle? I never ever try to force your lifestyle into trading. It's always going to fail. So, and I've got this little form I send out to people. Hey, here, it's just a set of questions and answers. When can I trade? What can I? All those things that say, and it's a self-evaluation. And most people go into this. Oh, I want to sit in front of my computer for 4 or 5 hours and trade, and then go play golf. Okay, fantastic. Do you currently have 4 or 5 hours to sit in front of your computer uninterrupted? Well, no. Well, then you can't do it. I'm sorry. And I have rained on so many parades doing that. But eventually, you can make trading be one of the things that sets you free. I mean, what are the 3 steps of financial security? You got financial stability, then financial security, and then financial freedom. And trading can absolutely be one of those. And I say, shoot for 5, right? 20% of your income. Once trading gets to the point where it's 20% of your income, and you've got another one, then fine. Then quit your job and bump them all up to 25%. You have 4 of them. You got your trading, you got your side business, you got your YouTube, you got all those things. And then you can trade for, well, then you're just a businessman. I heard somebody one time, fantastic explanation of it. He's an algorithmic trader. I've been chasing algorithms for a while now. We'll get into that if you want to in a little bit. But he basically said he considers himself a trading business owner. And all of his algorithms are his employees. And you could look at the same way if you different strategies. They're all my employees. My job is just to manage them. I wake up in the morning and I just see what they're all doing and then go tell them to do their job. And I go off and I manage the business doing other things. And that is really the best way to look at it. I'm not a trader. I'm not the guy from Wall Street. I'm a McDonald's owner, and I'm managing things, right, from the light bill to all of these other things. So, again, it is a nonstop job of dispelling myths to get people to the starting point. Oh, it's just so much to undo before they get to that point where now you are ready to start on the path to becoming a successful trader.
Well, I think it's important, and you hit on an important point, is like managing those expectations and asking people, like, do you really want to do this? Like, do you really want to put 4 hours a day in? Is this something you really want to do? Or like you mentioned earlier, do you want the Lambos? Do you want the girls? Do you want the yacht? Do you want the fancy stuff? So I think that's a That's an incredibly important point that you touched on.
Because I have been, what those expectations lead to is you being miserable one day and wanting to quit. And we here at Godly Trading, our goal is to help fathers in general, but I call fathers anyone who bears the responsibility for a family. It could be a single mom, it could be a guy and his goldfish, right? There's a verse in Proverbs that says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. We are here to help people, and trading is such an amazing opportunity. I got a guy in Nigeria that I'm helping, and he trades on his phone, which is amazing in and of itself, because he doesn't know he's going to have power for his laptop. So it's just so amazing that this tool that we have. Forex trading didn't happen until 1997. Retail trading didn't really hit its stride until the early 2000s because the commissions were so high before that. Trading is such an amazing opportunity. I hate to see anyone give up, but everyone gets to that point where they're so miserable they want to quit.
Yeah.
And our job is I said earlier on that the two biggest emotions you hear in literature is fear and greed. Well, for me, it's doubt and discouragement. Doubting what you're doing. That day, like, I've had so many losses in a row. Do I really know what I'm doing? Should I really be doing this? That doubt just starts to creep in your mind, and then it leads to discouragement, and that leads to quitting. Yeah. And it's amazing because losing money won't make people quit. There's so many stories of people who lose thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars and keep going. But as soon as that doubt starts to whir in your brain, you're like, just quit, just give up, move on to something else. And that's just, it's a shame. I love the opportunity. What's the term? Egalitarian, right? Trading can lift everybody out of their circumstances if they just treat it like juggling. Oh yeah, the balls fell on the ground. Just pick them up and keep going. It's just, trading is simple. Trading is dead simple and one of the hardest things you will do. Simple and easy are two separate things. But it is simple. It can be simple. But it takes...
I think that's life, right?
Absolutely. Trading with joy is based on the verse in the Bible that lists 9 attributes: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And self-control, that's where I start the book, is the beginning of every single skill or endeavor or new job or new personality trait or whatever it is, starts with self-control. Self-control is dead simple and the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Pepper, I have 2 more questions for you. If you could have dinner with 2 people, one person from the past and one person from the present, who would it be and why?
One person from the... It's the same dinner?
Yes.
That's a very interesting question. One person from the past, I would love to meet the fellow that there's a famous book out there called Confessions of a Stock Operator. His name was Jesse Livermore, and he's supposedly the best trader ever, and he committed suicide. And just I've read his story, and I would just love to hear from him personally how he went about what he was doing. As far as someone, this is just purely geek thing here. I've been watching Starship and the thing, and we Elon caught the rocket again last week in the little chopsticks. I think Elon Musk would be an exhausting person to listen to at a dinner table, and fantastic. Just because it seems like I have a hard time finishing a sentence because my brain has moved on to the next thought, and he's like taking that to an art form. I think that would just be fantastic. I'd be at least to be able to turn to my wife and go, at least I'm not that bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I think Elon Musk could be very interesting. You would realize that he knows a lot more than you do.
Yes.
Sitting there listening to it. I have one more question for you. Why did you decide to partner with us and offer the discounts?
Because I want to make this journey as accessible to anybody. And the more people that can be reached, the better. I mean, we're on a mission to help people. And everyone says that. But I have been at the bottom of the pit, right? Where you're just like, I want to quit and no one will help me. They tell the story all the time. The guy falls in a hole and people are passing by and won't help him out. Then his buddy Bob jumps in the hole and he's like, Bob, now we're both stuck in this hole. And Bob's like, yeah, but I've been in here before. I know the way out. And once you have gotten out or once someone has pulled you out, it is on you to help the next person out. And so we are on this mission to help people. And the more people that we can reach and lower the bar to entry, you know, I'm doing courses now. And like I tell people, I got some people in my group. By the way, we got a free Facebook community. Anybody wants to join? Come join. It's absolutely free. I mean, it's Facebook. I had some guy the other day say, "Oh, you're just a scammer." It's like, how? What? How? It's a free Facebook community that anyone can join. What? How's there? Anyway, we've got people that just have zero money, right? So it's like, okay, well, what can I do? Well, okay, I'm teaching courses. Hey, if you guys want to come and be in the room while I'm teaching it live on Zoom, just come be. They're free live, and then they'll go behind a paywall, and people can buy it on demand later on. So the more people that I can reach and help, and you know, the money will take care of itself over time. I mean, if I have to give a discount to anybody, I'm happy to do that, because I mean, honestly, what we want more than money are success stories. Because I mean, even from a selfish capitalistic standpoint, that's going to generate more money down the road. If I was being completely cynical, well, the more success stories I have now, the more money I'll generate down the road. As long as I'm being apply self-control and discipline and all those things I said at the beginning, if I apply that to a business, that means that I have to manage my expectations on the front end. So, I mean, I love, and plus the fact, I love the fact that y'all are, what's the name of that company that my son was telling me about, that like was supposed to be doing discount codes, and they were intercepting the thing and sending money elsewhere? Maybe you can't say them on here.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not going to forget the name, but yes,
I had
exactly.
no concept of the fact that discount codes in companies that you were thinking that would just be, you know, names we've heard, were ripping people off. That's like Goodwill, right? You always give money to Goodwill. I didn't realize Goodwill was a for-profit company. I always thought it was a non-profit. It's a for-profit. Well, I didn't realize that. Same thing with, I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Goodwill. I'm just saying there's this idea in your head about a company, and you really don't have data to back up the idea. And like, well, hang on, you mean there's discount codes that are ripping people off? How does that work? And apparently, not well. So I'm happy to partner with somebody that is ethically minded and transparent. You know, honestly, that is, I hate to harp on social media, because all of this is social media. But there is so, especially in the trading world, there's so little transparency amongst the people who say, follow me, because look at the Lamborghini I've got, right? And they got it off turbo for the weekend. Transparency, I think, is the next, I think transparency is going to be the next wave of currency in the information age. The more transparent you are, the more valuable you are. Even if you're doing it badly, as long as you're honest about it. I think people appreciate honesty,
yes,
possibly more than profitability, if that makes sense. I mean, maybe not, but if you're going to pick somebody that's going to give you a 20% return honestly and be transparent about it, or a 30% return and you're not 100% sure, I'm going to go with the person that's going to give me less return, but I know for dead certain they're telling me the truth because they're showing it to me.
Yeah.
So anyway, was a very long answer to a very short question.
Yeah. No, I mean, we appreciate it, and we, love to have you love to have you as a partner, and, we appreciate you and, your ethics and the way you're doing business. So that's other questions I have for you. How can people find you, and what is one thing you want to leave people with?
So godlytrading.com is the hub for all the different things we do. We've got, you can get the book there, you get all those things. I've got a free newsletter, and I try to give as much away as possible that's valuable. Sign up for the newsletter, it's absolutely free. Sign up for the Facebook group, it's absolutely free. If you people who have money that want to give me money to help them to learn how to trade, they will show up, and that's where this company will be profitable. For everybody else, just go to Godly Trading, get as much free as you can. I'm happy to sit on a video call with anybody for any reason for no money whatsoever and talk to you. The other thing is that people look at Godly Trading. Well, I'm not a Christian. Okay, if you are a follower of the Klingon religion, whatever its name may be, I don't know anything of love, joy, peace, patience, self-control, faithfulness that will run afoul, except possibly peace, right, of the Klingon religion. So I'm a Christian, I'm a proud Christian, but there's nothing in what we do that's going to run afoul of your religion, whatever that might be. So those are the main things there. And just go to Godly Trading, the hub for everything. You can find everything you need there from us. And I try to give away as much as possible for free.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Pepper, thank you so much for coming on the podcast, man, and sharing your knowledge. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks.